faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. It's Superman! Rocketed when a boy from the exploding planet Krypton, he grew to manhood here on Earth, whose yellow sun and lighter gravity gave him fantastic superpowers. Living in the city of Metropolis, he poses as mild television and newspaper newsman Clark Kent, but battles against evil all over the Earth and far beyond as Superman. Superman and the Conqueror from the Past. From stories by Bob Rosakis and Paul Kupperberg. In the newsroom at the studios of GBS Television in Metropolis, it is precisely 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Josh Coyle, the director of the evening news broadcast, is amazed. Hey, it can't be true. Somebody pinch me or call the special effects department or something.
What's the matter, Josh?
Over there. Clark Kent in the studio and early.
I don't believe it.
Hi. Good evening, Josh.
Good evening. You give me a heart attack for being on time for once, and all you can say is, good evening?
Sorry, Josh. I was just making sure that the remote satellite hookup direct from Egypt was ready for the broadcast.
It's ready, Clark.
Great. At least that's one less thing to make my ulcers start up. Okay, let's see how our star lady correspondent is enjoying the desert climate, provided this blasted hookup works. On the monitor screen, they see the lovely face of ace news reporter Lana Lang. She is speaking from Egypt.
Hi, Josh. Everything's going smooth as glass this end.
Great. Just try something, Lana.
Okay. This is Lana Lang coming to you direct from Giza, Egypt.
Good, good, good.
Hey, do as the man says, Josh, and relax. You sound a nervous wreck. Look, the equipment's working like a charm. The heads of the nations participating in the Great Peace Conference are all waiting to start, and...
Sure, okay. If nothing goes wrong, you've got 10 minutes. Clark will introduce the story about the peace conference from here in the studio, and then it will be over to you in Egypt direct. Got it?
Got it, boss man. I'll start on the straightforward report of the conference and go for my interview with the president, and then... What the...
Lana? Lana! Don't tell me we've lost sound.
No, Josh, but look.
And Josh Coyle, Clark Kent, and everyone in the studio looks. On the TV monitor, they see the most startling vision appear in the sky just above the gathered heads of state. A menacing, bizarre figure of a man hovers there. He is dressed in a suit of gold-plated armor with a purple cloak in the style the Macedonian warriors wore 2,000 years back in history. Meanwhile, back in the studio in Metropolis...
Hey, Josh, what a story. Shall I get it on video?
Hell no! We're going to break into the scheduled program that's going out now. Whoever that clown is, dressed up in the sky, has just appointed himself news. Hot news. Get it on now! Break in as fast as possible!
Working on it, Josh. I'll have this on the air in 30 seconds.
You hear that, Clark? It's your cue to get in front of that camera, tell the viewers what's happening, and at least act like you know what's going on. Clark? Clark! No, not now. He can't disappear now. Oh, my aching ulcers. Clark! But Clark hadn't exactly disappeared. Rather, he has simply chosen to get into another room and change into his Superman outfit.
Hate to leave Josh in the lurch like this, but tonight's news broadcast is going to have to do without the services of Clark Kent.
Don't do this to me, Clark, baby. I need you desperately. Please, Clark. And through an open window, Superman streaks into the blue of the sky.
Josh can get someone else to anchor that broadcast, but judging by what I saw on that screen, what is happening in Egypt at this moment is a job for Superman. With the leaders of 8 countries there, I can't take any chances.
Within minutes, he lands in Giza, Egypt, where Lana Lang runs to greet him.
Superman, say Superman, you really cut it close this time.
I got here as fast as I could, Lana. Say, what's going on?
This guy in the purple cloak and all the armor? He's a nutter, Superman. He's bananas.
How do you mean, Lana?
How do I mean? I mean that in another few minutes there are going to be a whole bunch of countries needing early elections. Look at him over there. He's got all the 8 leaders encased in a transparent sort of cage, like a great glass box. He's mad.
You're right, Lana.
Great rail!
I hear you, Superman, and warn you. In my presence, mention no power above my own. For from this day hence, there will be no greater power than mine. Mine is the power of the Planeteer, form reincarnate of Alexander the Great. I have returned to this earth to reclaim that which is mine as the son of Philip, King of Macedonia, God on earth for all of Egypt, conqueror of Persia, Egypt, Babylon, Asia Minor, and the rest of the known world. And the 8 so-called leaders here, usurpers to my domain, are needed no longer.
This has gone far enough, Planeteer. These people are here to negotiate for world unity. Through talk, not through conquest.
Then they shall be disappointed. Once did I conquer this world and rule over it, and so shall it be once again.
Alexander the Great lived over 23 centuries ago. Even if you are him, you've come back to a different world than it was then.
Is as always, so-called Superman. The Earth belongs to him who can make it his own.
And you are not that man. Release those people now, or
Or what, Superman? I am Alexander the Planeteer. However, do not think me unfair. My prisoners may go, if you are able to free them.
Thanks for nothing. I'll release these people, then it's your turn, Planeteer.
And from the television screen, the world bears witness to the incredible happenings there in Egypt. Superman approaches the great transparent cage which contains the world leaders. And with his superhuman strength, prepares to punch an escape hole in the side.
Stand back while
He punches. Nothing happens. He punches again. With no effect. Inside the cage, the leaders look aghast.
So, Mr. President, this is how your famous Man of Steel acts in the crisis.
Hardly, Mr. Premier. Superman hasn't let the good people of the world down yet, and by golly, he's not about to start now.
I appreciate your vote of confidence, sir. I only hope I'm up to it. That is no ordinary force field that the Planeteer is using to keep these people inside. My blow wasn't even able to touch the surface, as if my fists were being repelled by some force. Anyhow, here we go again. Just try a little harder. Hey, that hurt. I felt that. That's what I get for underestimating this would-be conqueror.
So you doubt my might, foolish mortal. Then come and taste my wrath.
I'm not impressed, Planeteer. I may not be able to crack your force field cage, but there's nothing to prevent me from attacking the cause of the trouble direct. I'm coming to get you, Planeteer. I was right. The Planeteer may be a genius with force fields, but he's obviously mad, and his insanity made him overconfident. He never thought to wear a protective shield.
The Planeteer has fallen to the earth and lays knocked out cold in the hot desert sand.
Stay back, everybody. He's only stunned. And until the world leaders are freed, he is still dangerous.
God, unbelievable footage.
Great picture.
Hey, he got up even after being hit by Superman.
Your world conquest ends here, Planeteer.
And to everyone's astonishment, the Planeteer staggers to his feet.
You talk nonsense, so-called Man of Steel. Do you truly believe your puny efforts can vanquish the son of Philip?
You need help, friend. Let me take you somewhere where they can look after you and...
Impudent peasant! No one has ever addressed me before in such a manner and escaped the sting of my power supreme.
Now Superman is trapped in the grip of an almighty force. He is lifted high in the air and then brought down to the ground at the feet of his adversary.
You must learn, O son of Krypton, that I am not to be dismissed. As you lie there, trapped in my power, I could slay you, Superman. But I am not without mercy. You shall live, but you shall know and acknowledge that it is the Planeteer who is your master.
Superman does not know if the Mad Planeteer is capable of killing him, and does not intend to give him a chance to try. He decides to take him by surprise by using his heat vision on the metal armor. But to no avail. The Planeteer's power is able to repel Superman's heat blast.
Still you fight on, eh, alien? I am impressed, and much do I admire your courage. Though your puerile persistence in denying that which is inevitable begins to irritate me.
And again, Superman is trapped in that mighty force, which leaves him unable to move.
Heed me, people on Earth. Thus have I vanquished your mighty champion. So too shall I banish these so-called leaders who are pretenders to my throne. I shall rule the world in a manner fair and just. But so too will I rain destruction upon those who resist me. Surrender now, and you shall live in peace and contentment. Resist, and die.
And before a bemused and frightened world, Superman is powerless. Until he knows what force field the Planeteer is employing, he can do nothing. With his super vision, he can see the energy waves in microscopic detail, in magnetic monopole particles unlike anything he has ever seen before. He knows, too, that one unplanned move by him could prove to be a fatal experiment. The Planeteer looks at him and sneers.
I tire of this childish play, so I shall take my leave of this place and take your leaders with me. I do not like your impudent manner, Superman. So heed what I say, or should you forget it, it will be your final act of defiance. I shall free you now as a vanquished foe, and when next we meet, it will be with you on bended knee, or with a bowed head, or I will have that head upon the end of my sword.
Great rail, no! He's vanishing into the sky with the world leaders. And even my supervision is unable to track them.
And as one, the witnesses at Giza gasp, as do television viewers across the globe. Superman has failed them. They have seen Earth's mightiest hero humbled before their eyes. Newsmen throughout the world make comment.
And following his defeat, Superman flew off declining to answer questions, leaving
The true
all to
identity of the
speculate on the fate
Planeteer,
of our
the
world
alleged
leaders.
reincarnation of Alexander the Great, is still a mystery. Meanwhile, one must ask, has Superman deserted the front?
And while the world is wondering, Superman is searching. Meanwhile, outside a deserted factory not too far from Metropolis itself, Cub reporter Jimmy Olsen hides and waits.
This is getting boring, sitting here alone, watching this place. I mean, it's supposed to be a working industrial plant, but I haven't seen anybody go in or come out in almost 14 hours. Still, my informant told me there is something fishy going on here, and Mark Olson's boy Jimmy can sniff out a big story from a mile away. Only thing is, if I can't find out what is fishy here, I haven't got a story. But short of being able to look through the walls, I'm stuck. Of course, there's nothing to stop me from getting a little help from somebody who can do just that.
A hidden switch is depressed on the young reporter's wristwatch with seemingly no effect. But effect there is for those like Superman, whose hearing is attuned to the special super high-frequency wave emitted by Jimmy Olsen's watch.
I know, that's Jimmy's signal. I shouldn't really abandon my search for the Planeteer and his captives, but he wouldn't signal me if there wasn't an emergency.
And within minutes, Superman is beside Jimmy in the factory grounds.
Hi, Jimmy. You signaled?
Superman, am I glad to see you.
What's the trouble?
The trouble is that I'm sitting on a hot story, and I can't get at it for love or money. Something decidedly peculiar is going on in that factory, but it's shut up tighter than a drum.
Is that what you called me for? Look, I don't know what is going on in there, Jimmy, and I don't care. It can't possibly rate with what's been going on elsewhere for the past several hours, don't you understand?
Sorry, Superman. Look, I've been squatting in these blasted bushes for half the day. How do I know what's been going on elsewhere? I figured you might want to give a friend a helping hand. Or in this case, a helping eye.
All right, Jimmy, you've made your point. I shouldn't have snapped at you, but I've been wrapped up in a case.
Yeah. Well, that's okay, Superman. I should have realized that you've got more important things to do.
Hold it, Jimmy. I think I really do owe you an apology.
How do you mean?
Well, from the look of the logo on the front of the building, I'd say this factory might just get us both what we want. You'll have your front-page story, and I'll get the Planeteer.
The who? Hey, where are you going? And who the heck is a Planeteer?
And before there is a chance to answer his question, Jimmy sees Superman head straight into the factory wall and hit it with all his strength.
This is too much of a coincidence to pass up. This company's logo is an exact replica of the insignia the Planeteer wears in his armor. That means there is more than a chance that I'll find the Planeteer inside this place, and... Great Rayo!
And there, shambling towards him, is a great gray dirt-color monster of a creature with huge head sunk into shapeless, massive body. Behind the horrifying figure, Superman can see two of the captive world leaders trapped inside the transparent cage, and a large, weird-shaped piece of machinery which dominates the factory floor. Still, the monster shambles forward, as if to protect its charges, both human and mechanical, from Superman the Intruder. And even before Superman turns his super senses on this hulking creature, he knows what he will find. That this is not a living thing.
The creature's composed entirely of common dirt. But how it's being held together and animated is a completely different question. Too bad I can't stop to analyze what makes it tick. But first things first. Get back, Gruesome. That's better. Sorry there's no time to spar around. You're somewhat disappointing anyway. After my bout with the Planeteer in Giza, I expected better. Great Rayo!
Again, Superman is taken by surprise. The great monster, only a form of dirt in shape, starts to move at an incredible speed.
Here we go, Gruesome.
The shape literally explodes into a maelstrom of earthen madness, showering the Man of Steel with a thick blanket of dirt. And he will not let go of him. He is covered.
The density of this dirt is incredible. Each clump weighs thousands of pounds, and they're getting heavier every second. But I'm here to free these captive people, and super heavy dirt or not, nothing is going to stop me.
And nothing does. With one great supreme blow, he cracks open the cage holding the two captives.
You've got to get out of here fast. If you're caught in this dirt storm, you might...
Excuse the interruption, Superman, but such has already happened.
We can't move. The dirt around our feet has hardened like a concrete.
It's even harder than that. Its mass is so great it's beginning to weigh even me down. This dirt is so heavy it's resisting even my heat vision's attempt to burn it away. Even my super breath has no effect on it. It is as if the dirt is somehow attracted to me by... Of course. That machine over there. I've been so intent on rescuing these people, I didn't bother to give this magnificent device the attention it deserves. I should have realized the only force that can give me this much trouble is supermagnetism. That gives me some answer to the mystery of the Planeteer's powers. But that information won't do me any good while I'm wrapped up like a cocoon in this earth. That electromagnet machine has got to go. And that takes care of that.
As the great magnet disintegrates, so its energy ceases, and the dirt creature and the force field cage holding the captives falls apart. Jimmy rushes in from outside to join them, only to find...
Superman! Hey, Superman, that was far out! I only just caught the end of your act, and I don't know why the leaders from two major powers should be here either. Hey, Superman! Where did he go? I guess this is a big story. Why don't you fill me in with what's going on?
And somewhere in an unknown place, the Planeteer is saying...
Thus ends the first phase.
But seconds later, and many thousands of miles north, Superman is in his Fortress of Solitude.
Jimmy will see to it that these two leaders get taken off while I attend to some business here. Now, if I analyze that device correctly, the Planeteer has found a way to draw tremendous amounts of magnetic waves from the Earth's magnetic field. This should make him and the location of his prisoners easy to find, provided I take along the right tool for the job.
Superman adjusts his electronic compass to pick up on the concentrated magnetic waves of the Planeteer's device.
And now I've got a date with a certain would-be world conqueror, and I don't intend to miss it for anything.
And Superman is away, up into the sky, circling the globe a dozen times in as many seconds until he is over the North Sea.
There's a strong magnetic field nearby, and I'm betting the answer is straight down. On the ocean floor. Yes, right on target. There are two more kidnapped leaders in a magnetic force field cage at the bottom. But I don't like something here. Why is the Planeteer separating his captives in this way? And knowing I was coming after them, why did he make that last cage so much weaker than the one he used the first time at Giza? And there doesn't seem to be a monstrous guardian around either. Let's get these people to safety before something decides to put in an appearance. We are at the surface. No danger about. Now I'll go back and put the Planeteer's super magnet out of action.
Danke, Herr Superman. We were beginning to think we would never see the sunshine again.
My pleasure, Mr. Chancellor. I'm only sorry I couldn't have got here sooner.
What is that splashing sound?
The splashing sound was the noise coming from four great sea creatures surfacing at that moment. Spiky, slimy, wide-eyed, hungry denizens from the depths of oceans unsuspected by mankind. Weird, prehistoric creatures attracted from the depth of some mid-ocean trench by the Planeteer's magnetic forces.
Was ist das, Herr Superman?
Sea creatures surrounding us. I would have thought this beyond even the Planeteer's capabilities. But no matter where they are from, I've got to take care of them before they take care of us. He's coming up with quite a few surprises. That's one big beastie that's going to have an upset stomach. Come on, I'll do the same to you. I'm wasting time fighting these monsters one by one. If the pattern holds, I won't have to. These creatures are most likely to be held here by the Planeteer's super magnet, so if I go down below and destroy that, they should head for home. There's the machine generating the magnetic field. I can't crack it. The steel casing is too dense. I can't crack it from the outside, that is. But regardless of how tough it is, it can only hold up to so much internal pressure. With my super breath, I can force water through the minute gaps in the seams of the casing, building up such powerful pressures that it will eventually have to.
And seconds later, Superman and the two world leaders are safely and gently floating on the surface of the North Sea.
You two all right?
Yeah, but I'm confused. I saw you fighting, but what were you fighting? I saw no enemy.
Nor me. I thought nothing.
You mean you didn't see those sea creatures?
Nein.
Then that magnet must have induced some kind of mirage. The Planeteer's control of magnetism is far superior to anything I thought.
And as Superman takes a world leader under each arm and flies them to safety and security, he is being watched on a super-controlled television screen by no other than his antagonist, the Planeteer.
Aye, Superman, as you say, my control of magnetism is far superior to anything you thought, and soon it will be even greater. But for the moment, Phase 2 is complete.
Let us now return to the city of Metropolis, even to the Galaxy building which houses the GBS television service. There, in the reception area, an anxious man and wife are pleading with the pretty lady behind the desk.
But you've got to tell Mr. Conrad we're here.
Yes, we've seen him on the newscast, and there is no one else we can trust to tell our story.
I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Mason. You don't have an appointment, and I just can't let anyone who comes in here get in to see Mr. Conrad.
Oh, Miss James, I wonder...
Oh, Mr. Conrad, we must speak to you on a matter of utmost importance. We must.
I'm sorry, Mr. Conrad, but I couldn't help.
It's about the Planeteer, Mr. Conrad.
The Planeteer? What about him? What do you know of him?
Mr. Conrad, he is our son.
Your son?
Yes, Mr. Conrad, the Planeteer is our son.
We felt if there was anyone who we could trust with our story, it was you.
Sure. I understand your desire to have the truth known, Mr. and Mrs.
Mason.
Mason. But in order for us to get to the bottom of this, suppose you start at the top.
Certainly, Mr. Conrad.
Ever since he first heard of Alexander the Great as a schoolboy, he's been obsessed with that master of the ancient world. And as he got older, that obsession grew. Soon he began to believe that he was Alexander.
The fact that my name is Philip, the same as Alexander the Great's father, only added fuel to his belief.
We hoped he would grow out of this fixation, but...
But, judging from current events, he didn't. But still, that doesn't explain his ability to defeat Superman and vanish with our world leaders.
Well, despite Alex's problem, he was a brilliant student. He was admitted to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology when he was only 15 and studied physics. It wasn't long before he became an expert in the field of magnetism.
And from what his professors told us, he built a device that allows him to tap into the planet's natural magnetic field and direct it to his own uses. That's why he adopted the name Planeteer, because he plans to rule this planet. We never thought he'd...
We want to help, Mr. Conrad. Alex has got to be stopped before he gets hurt, or before he hurts someone else.
Of course, Mr. Mason.
And so, a few hours later, in front of the cameras and watched by a worldwide audience...
Good afternoon. This is Walter Conrad from the GBS studios in Metropolis. With me today are Mr. and Mrs. Philip Mason, parents of the Planeteer, alleged abductor of 8 of the world's national leaders. In an exclusive interview this afternoon, the Masons will shed some light on the background of this amazing man. Hey, what's going on?
No, Alex, no!
Suddenly, the studio is gripped by some invisible, irresistible force that shakes it like a house of cards, and their world comes tumbling down.
My God!
And while utter chaos reigns at GBS, help is half a world away. Superman is flying high around the world, intent on the needle action of his electronic compass.
This doesn't make sense. My compass should detect even the slightest variation in the Earth's magnetic flow, but it's not picking up a thing. Either I've miscalculated, or the Planeteer is creating misleading magnetic fields to throw me off the track. There, the needle's going wild, which means the self-proclaimed reincarnation of Alexander the Great is leading me on a wild goose chase. Or else I've uncovered the location of more of the kidnapped statesmen.
Faster than a speeding bullet, the Man of Steel streaks toward the Sunda Straits in Indonesia and to Krakatoa, which a century ago was the site of the worst volcanic eruption in modern times. It has lain silent since, a sleeping, brooding mount of destruction, its smoldering core perhaps waiting to erupt again. But until that time, the crater is an ideal spot to place a magnet machine and is the perfect prison, safe from the intrusion of man. But not, thankfully, a Superman. His X-ray vision tells him that there are 2 captives trapped inside that awesome interior. He dives through the solid lava crust.
And now to see what I can do about freeing the captives before putting the Planeteer's magnet machine out of action. Hold tight, gentlemen. I'll have you out of there in a minute. I can't destroy this magnetic device until you're free, or the force field will dissolve instantly. And although I'm invulnerable to the superheated lava, you are not. Good thing, too, the Planeteer sets his traps well. Great Rayo, I'm on fire! Is this just another of Planeteer's hallucinations? Like those sea serpents I fought earlier? The flames are real, and not even my super breath can extinguish them. In fact, it is only fanning them hotter. Only one thing to do, and that is to remove the machine out of this mountain. Here goes. No good. The supermagnetism is keeping the machine firmly rooted to the ground. It's defying even my super strength. I can't budge it.
Superman ponders the dilemma, his mind working faster than the fastest computer designed by man.
Of course. This metal casing is unaffected by the heat from the lava and the flames around me, which makes it the perfect material for shielding the force field cage from both me and the lava. But I've got to work fast. Through!
And our man from Krypton tears away the very casing of the side of the magnet machine. As it comes off in strips under the incredible strength of his hands, he replaces it around the cage holding the captives.
Must finish this before the machine melts into a pile of useless slag. Done! And not a microsecond too soon. And I was right. The flames are already dying down, which means it's safe for me to leave. The same way as I came in.
With the cage containing the 2 world leaders safely wrapped in indestructible metal, Superman again takes to the air, carrying the cage with him. Then...
Uh-oh. Molten lava escaping from my escape hole. But it's nothing a blast of super cold breath won't put a stop to. Hey, look! That suddenly frozen lava has formed a most interesting formation. Should make quite a tourist attraction.
But the solidified mass is already an attraction to a man viewing the activity on his super television screen several thousands of miles away.
Thus, that meddling fool they call Superman completes Phase 3!
Superman safely delivers the 2 captives back to the peace conference, but does not stop to acknowledge the plaudits of the grateful crowd. He knows there are 2 more world leaders in the hands of the Planeteer, and they must be found and the Planeteer destroyed.
This is difficult. I haven't the slightest hint as to the whereabouts of these people. After a factory, a deep-sea trench, a fiery volcano, where can they be? Rayo, how could I have missed it? It's obvious. At the factory, I faced a creature made of earth. Then creatures from water, then fire, 3 of the 4 ancient elements, which leaves...
air. In Alexander the Great's time, these were believed to be the 4 basic building blocks of the cosmos. And faster than the eye can follow, the blue and red-clad figure of Superman speeds through that very element, scanning with X-ray vision anything that flies or floats in the skies above.
I've double-checked everything that flies and come up empty. But I'm certain the captives are in some sort of airborne prison. Maybe I've missed something, but I doubt it. And I can't give up the search, even if I have to circle the Earth 1,000 times more until I find them. Hey! I haven't checked out natural weather patterns properly, but I have noticed the cloud formation over Siberia hasn't moved for hours.
Within seconds, our hero arrives at the hovering cloud, through the drifting moisture bank and into the center, and there they are. The 2 leaders trapped in the transparent force field cage just as the others were. And beside them, hovering in space, the usual magnetic generator. But no Planeteer in sight.
I'll worry about the Planeteer later, once I free these 2 presidents from this airborne prison. It'll be interesting to see what the maniacs devised to protect this setup. Hey, that magnetic generator moved without me touching it. The Planeteer's got some sort of magnetic field around it, which has a charge similar to my own body's natural electricity. Opposite poles attract, but like poles repel. I can't get near it to destroy it. If he's booby-trapped the generator like that, then the force field cage must be the same. I can't free those men.
But far away in another land, every move that Superman makes is being watched on a special television screen. The viewer? The Planeteer.
But am I any less the fool for believing him to be the one to destroy my machines? In truth, the Man of Steel should have achieved that very end by now. Here I stand, a single step from gaining power beyond imagination, and I must wait for this one man. I had left his last machine unprotected, simplicity itself to destroy. Although they feed my powers as they stood, their destruction by Superman will supply the Planeteer with power incarnate. Perhaps he has unraveled my plot, perhaps. But no, for though he be Superman, I remain Alexander the Great. He will smash my machine, and then Alexander shall again rule the earth. But why does he continue to fail me? Why? Unless his exposure to my other generators by misfortune charged him with like magnetic energies, so he and this generator repel each other.
And Superman means to succeed. Realizing that his own magnetic field was affected by exposure to the Planeteer's other machines, he knew that somehow he had to disrupt the flow of energy, keeping him from this one. And before the captive's astonished eyes, Superman leaves them and swoops earthward. Down, down, down into the very sea itself.
This sunken World War II battleship contains enough iron to disrupt even the most powerful magnetic force field man can produce.
And incredibly, our Superman raises the great rusting battleship from the ocean bed, lifts it to the surface. Then, up into the air. But he meets trouble. For even as he speeds his burden through the skies, he knows the magnetic field is flowing around him and the ship, still repelled by his bodily charge.
It's no good. That's 2 battles this ship has lost. So it's back to the ocean bed where it came from. Maybe a super powerful electric charge into the cloud will do the job. A combination of my heat vision and super cold breath might whip up the cloud's natural energies. I'm wasting my strength. The field is as strong as ever. But, hey! There's a disruption in the magnetic charge. That's never happened to me before. There's one method I haven't thought to try. Myself.
Faster than light itself, like some great supernatural whirlwind, Superman circles beneath the cloud, creating a disturbance in the field by setting up a counterforce in the magnetism. Faster and faster he speeds, breaking in and out of the magnetic waves until suddenly the invisible force holding both machine and energy cave aloft simply is no longer there. And the next instant, the generator itself disintegrates, and Superman rescues the 2 captives. But unknown to the triumphant Superman, his troubles have just begun. A jubilant Planeteer, who has been watching the action on his screen, leaps into the air with satisfaction.
By Zeus, 'tis done at last. I feel the energies into my being, filling my every molecule with power even beyond my expectations. Power to rule all of puny mankind.
Nor does the Planeteer wait to inform a disbelieving world that it is soon to bow before his might. On television screens across the world,
Attention, my subjects, and heed the word of your master. He who was once called Alexander the Great, and shall be so named once again. I have but toyed with your mightiest hero, and he has done naught but fail. Yet in doing so, he has made my conquest possible. For if he cannot defeat Alexander, even your missiles and bombs are as nothing to me. and your leaders shall soon see the futility of opposing me.
But while the mad Planeteer, now drunk with power, was gloating to the world, Superman was heading towards Egypt. He knew that one of the real Alexander's greatest triumphs was in Egypt, and that his first meeting with the madman had been at Giza.
The world will know that I, Alexander the Great, am supreme. Superman, I expected you.
All right, I'm here, Planeteer. What's next on your warped agenda?
To humiliate you in the eyes of the world before I slay you.
You're welcome to try, Planeteer, but I promise... Hey! That hurt, madman.
The Planeteer has fired a violent electric charge at Superman, which lifts him right into the air and smashes him against the huge, silent, nearby Sphinx. Never before has Superman been so enraged.
If that was your best shot, madman, you're in trouble. Because now you've made me angry. And do you know what that means?
The meaning is becoming all too obvious to the Planeteer as he finds himself hurled from the land of Egypt to a safe, albeit startling, splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Yet incredibly, unbelievably, the supervillain throws a small Pacific atoll straight at the oncoming Superman, who is catapulted high into the blue skies thousands of miles, until he lands in a heap by the Great Wall of China. But when the Planeteer arrives to destroy Superman forever, the Man of Steel is ready. With one awesome single blow, he sends the Planeteer flying through the thin upper atmosphere to land among the great redwood trees of California. Even so, the Planeteer has the strength to strike back. Now it is Superman who must suffer as he is cast over continent to the heart of London. Even in the center of England's capital, the battle continues until, with one blow, the Planeteer is sent speeding into the depths of the Arctic. And in that frozen, isolated, desolate place, the two powerful enemies face each other for the final time.
It's over, Planeteer. There's no risk of you doing any damage here, and I'm not about to let you leave under your own power.
Brave words, Superman. But come, I shall allow you a final try at stopping me before I bring you to your end. Take your best blow at me. Come on. I shall do naught to stop you, but be warned, my turn will come next.
That's very kind of you, but somehow I'm not worried.
Superman leans forward and touches his opponent. It is but the merest touch, but with his super strength, it is enough. The Planeteer falls unconscious, for he's been so occupied with their global game of tag that he never noticed he was being slowly drawn towards the Earth's magnetic North Pole. As Superman looks down on his fallen, defeated adversary, he speaks quietly.
The magnetic field holds no sway up here. And just as compasses are useless up here, so are your powers, Planeteer. It is all finished for you, would-be Alexander the Great.
It is 1 hour later. We are back where we started this story, in the GBS television studios in Metropolis. Josh Coyle, still as tense and worried as ever, is preparing the most important news bulletin of his career. He is again on direct link with Lana Lang in Egypt.
Okay, 4 minutes to go before we're on. One final test, Lana.
Okay, Josh. I think I'll take it like this. And things are settling back to normal here in Giza, Egypt. Superman turned the Planeteer over to the authorities earlier, and even now is in the process of repairing the damage done to the Sphinx in the battle with the defeated Planeteer, just as he did to the other places before returning here. Okay so far, Josh?
Yep, carry on, Lana. Wait a minute. Where's Clark Kent? Well, get him! Okay, but carry on, Lana.
Meanwhile, the released world leaders have wasted no time in getting down to the business of peace talks. None of the 8 national heads were hurt in the kidnapping, so we'll all be able to assure the world that matters here are going just fine. How are things progressing in the studio there, back home, Josh?
1 minute to airtime, and I have just taken my last ulcer pill. Oh, and Clark Kent is still among the missing. Otherwise, everything is fine.
Really, Josh?
Hey, there he is! Clark Kent, where the dickens have you been?
Well,
No, never mind. Get in that chair. You're on the air in 30 seconds.
And Clark Kent, alias Superman, smiles quietly and goes in front of the camera, ready for transmission.
Josh, it would take the Planeteer to keep me away from this broadcast.